Hello, coffee lovers, and welcome to the God Country Live Video Podcast. Every Friday evening at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And now, live from Seguin, Texas, and other places around the world, your host, Jose Roberto Alanis Jr.
Hello, coffee lovers. It's 1900, and that means that it's time for God Country Coffee. And I'm glad to have you. I'm glad you're here. We always don't script this, and so sometimes that poses difficulties, especially if I don't have guests. And we've invited a couple people, but I don't know if they're going to jump on. What a great start to 2023. We are 6 days in, and I am 5 days into a program with several people. They're probably all more fitted for it than I am, but having a good time with it anyway. We'll talk about that in a little while. Just in the last week or so, we've made I always pray for divine appointments. And we were so blessed. I'll tell the story in a minute, but we had a great person that I met that is now part of what we're doing with our coffee. And so biggest news right now is that we just got the website squared away. And I need to move this down just a little bit and maybe a little bit over. I don't know. And so we made this connection, and we also got on with the city of Seguin as a vendor. And that's amazing because they've already placed an order. And so I've got to fill that this weekend. But the Seguin Pecan Coffee, if you're already a fan, if you're a fan of the Moac blend of coffee, if you know Marty Martinez and the Moac coffee, the new or improved pecan blend is absolutely amazing. So before I get all into everything that we're going to talk about tonight, thank God for everything that he's been doing in my life. There have been a lot of struggles lately, a lot. And I'm going to grab my Bible real quick because there's something that I like to read when I'm really having a hard time. I've been having an incredible hard time physically lately. I haven't done anything since Dad passed away back in 2016. And so starting over again is pretty difficult. I started the first time, some of y'all might have remembered, when I went from 350 pounds down to 220. And I was running marathons and triathlons, or getting ready for triathlons, and doing lots of biking and swimming and stuff like that. And I went from size 50 pants. What up, John? I went from size 50 pants in 7 months down to 34s, and I was feeling great. And so I've let myself go since then. I'm back up to, I weighed in for this challenge at 309.5. I think I'm down like 6 pounds in 5 days so far. And I am wanting to strangle the guys that got me involved with it, because it's been a rough go, and it's 60 days long. So, but what I wanted to read is out of James, first chapter of James, second verse. Consider it all joy, my brothers and sisters, when you are encountering various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces endurance, and let that endurance have its perfect result, so that you may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing. And so I love that verse. That's one of my, I think when I first started hanging around Pastor John, I think he's the one that told me to read John, or maybe it was Ephesians. Maybe John told me to read Ephesians. I don't remember, but I love James because James is the brother of Jesus, and the book of James is like an action book. It's like everything in there is like action. This is what you're going to do. This is what you should do. And And so I love that. I love that book in the Bible. I love all the books in the Bible, right? But I think as time goes, it changes, right? You told me to start in John, but to memorize Ephesians. That's right. You did tell me to memorize Ephesians. And I still haven't, just so you know. I read it all the time, but I haven't memorized it. But coffee wise, let's talk about coffee for a minute, because this is the God Country Coffee Podcast. So, God first. I don't really have much for the country today except that be diligent, be aware of your surroundings, um, take care of your families, vote. I don't care what side you're on, vote when the time comes to vote. Do your part, do your civic duty, and go vote. Um, aside from that, uh, I haven't been to a lot of third world countries, but I have been to one, and I've been overseas to some other countries that are very socialist in nature. And I can tell you that with all the problems that we have in this country, we still live in the best country in the world. So take that for what it's worth. Um, coffee. I was praying for divine appointments. I was not struggling with anything in the coffee, but I do my Seguin pecan with real pecans. I buy the shells and little bits of pecan in them from. I bought some originally here from Pape in Seguin, and then I ran out and I ended up buying some online, and I ran out of those, and I went back to Pape and I bought some more, and then I went, but they don't sell you the shells, they sell you the whole pecans. And so I went to Parker's hardware store here in Seguin to buy a rubber mallet so I could beat the pecans and crush them and make little pieces of pecan to burn in my commercial roaster for that particular coffee. And I walk in, and there's my brother Eric Sykes, and he's getting some material for a job that he's doing close to my house. And he asked me what I was doing, and I told him. And he says, "Dude, I'm doing this job at this guy's house, and it's a pecan grove and a pecan orchard and whatnot." And anyway, on the bottom of my screen, you'll see the website for 38pecans.com. I met Mark Walls. He's the grandson of the original owner of that place. He's doing the day-to-day operations now. And we talked about what I needed, and we made a deal. We're going to collaborate on some things. And the biggest thing right now is that our Seguin pecan is going to be roasted with 38 pecans from literally 2 miles from my house, right on the Guadalupe River. So it doesn't get any more Seguin than that. I mean, that's pretty Seguin. Everything that goes into that coffee is from Seguin, including, everything. So you can check there. The other thing is our new website. We haven't officially launched it yet, but if you'll look at the ticker down here, and I'm going to put it in the, I have to go to I'm going to do it from my phone. I have to go to another platform to be able to do this. But our new website is Third Day Coffee Seguin. It's 3rddcs.com. It's scrolling across the bottom. And what's up, Brian? It's scrolling across the bottom. And if you will please go to the news site, move around it, give me any kind of feedback that you possibly can. It would be very much appreciated. We are trying to get that site like tuned up, or whatever you want to call it, zeroed in, dialed in. And so, how do I make that shut up? It's in my hearing aids. Okay, I'm going to put it right here. www.3rddcs.com. Okay, I put that in the comments. There it goes. So Brian's moving to Wyoming. We'll be praying for him for that trip that he's making. So the new website, 3RDDCS, it stands for Third Day Coffee Seguin.com. And it's not this long. and so it'll be really easy to type in, and we're going to connect the SEO to the original site. And now the site is already up. You can actually go on there and buy coffee right now. Um, if there's going to be issues that I'm going to be working out, so that's what I need to know. I need for you to move around, put stuff in the cart. Don't buy it until we're actually ready. Um, and I've got to get the subscriptions on there, which are not in there yet. So I'm still working on that. But that's really exciting for us because I started that webpage about a year ago, maybe longer. And I've had some great help. My friend Chris, who's been doing a lot of the background stuff on the website. Um, and so we've got it now where it's zeroed in. We just need to make a few fine adjustments, and I've still got to go through the different coffees and put the scale weight and all that stuff in it. But those are minor things. You can grab the different coffees and the coffee cups and stuff and throw them in your cart. Like I said, just don't buy them. Send me an email from the new website, just telling me that you're testing it, so that I know. And that way, we can try to work out whatever issues we're having with it. Um, so that's what I want to say about the two websites are scrolling across the bottom. So let's talk about what's going on with 2023. What are your goals for the new year? How are you gonna um, uh, make this year successful for yourself? Everybody who knows me knows I've struggled for years and years and years with my fitness, with my health. Um, Many years ago, I would say about 8 years ago, 7 or 8. Hey, Ginger, 7 or 8 years ago, I decided that I was going to do something about it. I was about 340, 348, somewhere around there. And 5'7", so that's a lot of weight on a short frame. And I decided to do it like a couple of days before Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving um, that year, I went to Luby's and I bought a uh, grilled fish and steamed vegetable plate, and that's what I took to my mom's house for Thanksgiving. And I didn't eat dessert, and I didn't eat turkey and stuffing and all that other stuff. And 7 months later, I lost 117 pounds, and I got down to 220, I think, right at 220. And I went from size 50 to size 34, and I was swimming a mile every morning before I went to work. I was either running or biking during lunch. Sometimes I'd take a swim during lunch. And then when I got home from work, depending on the time of the year, how much daylight was left, I was doing 20 to 40 miles on my bike or running, and I would meet up with friends and we would do, 10, 12 miles on foot or whatever. And so since then, slowly just got away from it till I wasn't doing anything. And I've always struggled, and not everything works, and everybody's different. And so I know what works for me. What works for me is a super strict, rigid, you know, course of action. And Marty Martinez had been bugging me for a while to join this thing with him, and I was like, whatever, I'm not doing it. And so Marty's in pretty good shape. I think Marty still PTs quite a bit, and James, my other friend, he's an Army Ranger, and he's still pretty fit, at least we all thought. And then there's a few other people in our group, and so they all we created a group, and Marty kept sending me this link, and I kept blowing it off because I'm like, I'm not doing this. I did 75 hard a while back, and I loved it because it worked for my personality, but I was like 8 days into it and I got COVID. And then the next 3 weeks were just, not fun at all for me. And even once I had COVID, I was still doing the challenge until I started coughing. And then after that, it was over. But this is called the Deliberate Discomfort 60-Day Challenge. And the guy who started this, Mission 60, is also the guy who's in charge of Warrior Rising, which is a veteran entrepreneur group that helps vets. And if you get selected, you get to go to you get to go to a is that you, Brian, that's back on Facebook? um, you get to go to a what they call a business shower where they give you an Apple iPad, I mean, an Apple laptop, and a tailor-made suit and some other tools for business, right? And so I got to go to a Warrior Rising event this last year, and it was amazing, amazing. And the Jason Van Camp was the head cheese of that. And so he's the guy that started Mission 60, and he's the guy who's been doing this challenge. And for whatever reason, they decided they were going to do it free. And I really wasn't paying attention because I'm really wasn't interested. But Marty kept bugging me. He kept sending me that link like every day. I'm not kidding, like for a week. And so finally I looked at it, and Marty's like, come on, man. We'll help you. We'll walk through this. And so I went through all the videos and everything, and it basically says, like, if you can't do something, substitute it, whatever, just complete the task. And so there are 6 categories that you have to complete every day. One of them is basically a gym setting or a weight setting. The other one is an aerobic setting. Then you have to read a book a week. And then you have to do a social thing. And the social thing is basically, uh, you know, make a list of 60 people that maybe you haven't been talking to, or maybe some relationships that were strained, and reach out and have a real conversation with somebody. No, not texting or Facebook messaging, but physically get on the phone with somebody and have a physical conversation with them over the phone. And so that's been pretty cool. I've already made one call to a strained relationship that was unusual, but it was pretty awesome. And so that's kind of getting me out of my comfort zone. And then the other part is some self-care stuff, some meditation, breath works. I don't buy into a lot of that stuff, but I know that the breath work stuff is amazing. I have been able to relieve stress when I'm like completely stressed out. It's all in my neck and everything. And I can go do some breath work and it just all goes away. And then what I did is onto the meditation portion category, I add prayer because somebody once told me that your prayer should be interrupted by your day, not your day being interrupted by prayer. And what that means is like you should basically be praying all the time. You should pray all the time, all the time. And your life should get in the way of your prayer, not your prayer getting in the way of your life. So I added the prayer into the meditation part of that category. And that's been helping me really get into my studies again, like I hadn't been in a while. And so we're 5 days into this thing. I had to do a ruck today that was weighted. I was supposed to do 60 minutes, and I was able to do about 35 before I had to pull the weight out because I couldn't do it anymore. And I finished the ruck march without the weight in the rucksack. But it's one of those things where you progress. And so the workout that we did today in the gym was pretty intense. What's up, Arnold? I'm having a great time with it. Arnold's one of the guys that is in our Facebook group. And we're all moving through this together. We're encouraging each other. We're posting pictures daily of our ups and our downs, and all the joking that goes along with a bunch of military folks is all part of it. And so it's been an amazing journey. Got 55 days left. That's a long time. I know that. But I also know that I'm really encouraged just from the first week to finish it, to do whatever I have to cross the finish line, at 60 days. And honestly, Robert Torres taught me something that I never believed. I've always thought, well, I'm 300 pounds and everything sucks and I hurt and my body can't physically do what you're asking me to do. And Robert's like, do you trust me? And I'm like, well, of course I do. I wouldn't be training with you if I didn't trust you. He says, I promise you, I'm not going to hurt you. And I'm like, okay. And so he made me do things, made me push myself. And that was the first time that I realized that when your brain tells you you're done, it's lying to you. Your body is capable of so much more. Um, and that was a great learning moment for me because I know that I can do way more than what my mind, if we left it up to our minds, folks, we would do nothing. We would just quit right away. We wouldn't follow through things. Um, and Yeah, man, it's been really helping me, the prayer part. And Robert, I'm glad you love the coffee. I think you got one of the first bags of the new, improved process for the coffee. And so, uh, all of this to say this: you have to take care of yourself. If you don't take care of yourself physically, you're not going to get anything else that you want to get done this year. It's plain and simple. Um, Brian always preaches about how the Bible tells us that we're supposed to take care of our bodies, and and people are so defensive when it comes to that. They don't want to hear that. But the fact is the Bible does say that our body is a temple of, it's not ours, it belongs to God. And so, are we honoring him with all the blessings that he gives us? Are we honoring him by taking care of ourselves? And I haven't done it in a very long time, I can tell you. And when I was doing it, I hadn't surrendered my life to Christ yet. So I wish those two would have merged, but they're going to merge now. And Marty keeps telling me that you need to learn the theory of yet. I can't do that yet, but I'm going to get there. I can't do that many push-ups yet. I can't put that much weight in my ruck yet. And so I love that because it's gives your mind, it's hope. It's talking about hope and hard work. And I know that as I continue to have faith in God and in myself, in my ability to continue on this path, that I'm going to get to a point where I'm going to be feeling great and I'm going to be running again and I'm going to be riding my bike and swimming again. And that affects all aspects of your life. Because I can tell you that when I was fit, I'd come home from work and I'd jump on the lawnmower and I'd cut all the grass and then I'd jump off of it, get the weed whacker, and I'd do all the trimming. And then I would go mess with the horses and I would do all this stuff before okay, I'm ready to have dinner and go to bed. Now I don't want to do that. I just want to come home and sit down and do nothing. And that's because my fitness is terrible. My health is terrible. I'm eating terrible. Uh, and so this ties into every aspect of our lives, whether you think it does or not. I think it affects you or not, but it really does. And then you got to consider all the junk they put in our food. There's so much terrible things in our food that are bad for us. But we get into that whole thing where, oh man, I'm not hurting anything. I can eat these donuts every morning. You really can't, and I mean, you can if you want to end up 300 pounds at 5'7" and feel terrible. What's up, Frank? And so um, it's so important to take care of your health. But as it's not everything, right? I mean, honestly, for me personally, the most important thing is my relationship with God. I have to nurture that every single day. So I wake up every single day in the book. I wake up every single day in the Word. And then I have this other great book, and this one's already earmarked for somebody. But if you have a conversation with me, I might send one of these to you. This is called My Utmost for His Highest. It's by Oswald Chambers. And the guy was a missionary back at the turn of the last century. And he did these great sermons. And his wife she was a court reporter. So she was trained in shorthand. And Oswald never wrote anything down, but she shorthanded everything. Well, they ended up getting like the Spanish flu or whatever it was at that time, around 1900. It was after that because I think it was right before World War I. And anyway, everybody got it and recovered, and he was like really healthy and strong, and he got it and he died. And so his wife started transposing all the shorthand, and this is what it is. And so this is verse driven. This is not just some guy's opinion. Um, and so he uses the scripture when he talks about the different things, and he does basically he when you study the Bible and you take a verse and you study it, this is kind of what this is. This gives you that excerpt from that study on that verse. And at the very bottom, he gives you a couple of, what he thinks it's supposed to, how it all ties together. And so, anyway, I highly recommend that book as well. For your reading, it's a really great piece to add. And so, once that relationship, somebody explained it to me, and I need to make a visual because I don't have one, but somebody explained to me, like, let's say you had a string. Let's say you had two strings, right? Like these two strings right here. Okay. And we'll just tie these in a knot, and I'll show you what I'm talking about here. But let's just say that this is your life. Okay. These are the two strings, right? And so let's say these had weights on the end of them, and they were sitting on opposite ends. And so as the closer you get to God, the more everything pulls in. And so if your wife's out here, or your family, or your job, or whatever it is out here, the closer you get to God, they come closer together, and eventually you're just all one piece. And so that relationship is number one for me. And then once I get past that, I've always tried to put other things, second and third. And I've learned through my studying and my praying, my prayer life, that there's so much more that you need to take care of. And so I know that to be successful, and uh, in just everyday life, in my job, my job demands that I walk anywhere from 2 to 7 miles a night when I'm doing my rounds. That's a lot for a fat guy if you're out of shape. I remember when I was in shape, I would do a portion of my walkthrough, which is about 1.5 miles, and I would lunge it the whole way. I would do lunges. I would go every room I went into to go take readings. I would do lunges all the way down the room. There's no way I could do that right now. Can't do it yet, but I'm working towards that, and I know that eventually I'm going to get to that point because I'm extremely motivated, and I refuse to allow myself to fall back into my old ways. Like, I don't really need to do it this much. I don't really need to push it this hard. Well, I'm modifying the program that I'm in because I can't physically do everything the way they want it with the amount of weight that's supposed to be done yet. But I'm getting stronger. Mentally, I'm getting stronger. Again, we're only a few days into this, and I'm extremely motivated. I'm more motivated today than I was when we started. And Marty got me pretty fired up to get the whole program started to begin with. So it's been amazing. It's been absolutely amazing. And then, making new contacts with people in business, that's been so huge. I have my white label business has just kind of skyrocketed here recently. And everything I do is for God's glory. I could take a whole lot more money that I make and from the coffee and put it in the bank, but we support the farm and the church in Honduras, in the mountains down there. So we donate money to that, and we donate money to veterans groups here and stuff like that. And we're trying to plan a big, huge veterans event for 2024 here at the local airfield that is an auxiliary airfield for the Joint Base San Antonio. So if anybody out there knows somebody at Joint Base San Antonio in the protocol office, I could really use the contact. So anyway, things have been going really well. I have decided that this is going to be the year that I get healthy. And so I'm working on that. I don't know if I'm going to make 60 days of the program I'm in right now, but Brian Stacy, Tricom Fitness, he's got some supplements that I'm taking that are really good for pre-workout and then post-workout. And so, Brian, if you want to put your the link to the supplements. Please do that in the comment. And I was hoping that Marty would jump on and scream at me, but um, Arnold, I don't know if you have the. I don't have the link to the program that we're doing, but I know Marty was throwing that thing around like M&Ms the other day, and it's a great. I don't know if I would have done it individually, but as a team, I know it's been awesome because we have a lot of fun in the group that we're on, and encouraging each other, and we show each other doing our daily stuff, and that's very encouraging, you know. And so um, I'm going to hit Marty up for that, but uh, the it's been a great process so far. It's just a constantly like I'm kind of waiting for the next thing. I'm waiting for the next milestone. And today was a pretty good milestone because the um, the gym section, we had to do this every minute on the minute drill that was for 25 minutes, and you did like 6 kettlebell swings and 6 air squats and 6 push-ups, and you had to do them in a minute. And then the next minute you start again. And so you did that for 25 minutes. It's like a circuit, like an HIT circuit. And I can tell you that by the time I got to the end of that, I was I was screaming bloody murder. And then I told myself, well, the ruck march this afternoon is going to be gravy compared to that. And yeah, I was taught otherwise. Thank you, Arnold, for dropping that in there. I highly recommend this. I highly recommend it to do it with people that you know, or even people you don't know. Get a group together, uh, of 4 or 5 people, whatever, and just bounce off each other, encourage each other. Thanks, Frank. I know Frank's in our group. Frank had to go to the hospital. Frank tore his hip up. And the idea is not to tear your hip up on day 2. It's to, it's to, I know Frank didn't mean to do that in any way, shape, or form, but he's going to recycle to the next one, which starts in February. And so Frank, the crayon eater, the great Frank, put your link for the crayons, man. Um, Frank is a Marine who came up with, yes, absolutely. It takes a whole village, Arnold. You're absolutely right. And so everybody in that group, except for me, I think, has something to offer in terms of experience. All those guys are a bunch of rangers and people who have been around and know how to do this. Um, and so I bring the clowning to the group. Um, and I'm very comfortable in where I'm at, but I don't want to be here anymore. And I know that it's unhealthy. And so I made a joke today that uh, in today's episode of Fat Guy Fumbling Through Fitness, and I can't remember what the post was, but and I can easily make fun of myself that way because I'm okay with it. I know where I'm at, and I'm not saying it in a negative way. I'm saying it in I know that I'm where I'm at, and I know that I don't want to be here anymore, and I'm doing something about it. And so when I get to the end, I'm going to encourage people just like me who had, trouble tying their shoes, had to hold their breath while they did that. Guys that their pants don't fit. I'm not back up to 50s, but I'm wearing 44s. Uh, and I'm going to get back down to 34s, maybe even 32s. I don't know. But I'm planning out the whole year already. Marty and I are going to do the Hotter Than Hell 100 in August, a 100-mile bike ride. I rode my bike yesterday. I felt really good. And so all these things are great to get it does a lot to you physically. And I don't know all the science. I've been listening to a lot of stuff about it, but man, when you feel better physically, everything else, you're more prepared for it. And so you're absolutely right, Frank. The idea is to modify it, fake it till you can make it. And I don't mean that in a way like don't do your part, but um, you you know if they tell you to do 100 pounds, you do 10 pounds until you can do 100 pounds. And that's kind of where I'm at because I just had shoulder surgery, and Tuesday I got my head bit off for doing too much in the gym, and then today the main therapist was jumping on my case until she found out what I was doing in the gym, and she's like, really? what else are you doing? And so when I told her everything, she was like, you know what? You don't have any restrictions because of the surgery they did. So if it doesn't hurt, do it. And so, once you get to feeling better physically, it gives you a different perspective. And maybe it's not so much that it makes everything in your life better, but it takes one aspect, a pain point in your life, it takes it out. And so, if you could take a pain point out of your life by just being mobile, by taking a step and doing something, then why wouldn't you? And what really came full circle to me is going and seeing my grandson this year in New Zealand, because I've always opted to stay home and work and let Connie go. And then COVID hit, and then we couldn't go. And I wasn't going to go this time because I needed to stay home and work. Well, I talked to Michael, my grandson, and I could tell by the interaction, the way he interacted with my wife and the way he interacted with me, that he didn't really know me. He knows I'm grandpa, but I'm just that guy who sends him stuff. And so I knew I had to go. And once I did, and I spent time with him, and I realized physically how much I struggle, I came home with an attitude like, okay, this has to stop. I have to take care of myself, for my wife, for my grandkids, for my family. I have to take care of me. And once I get that in line with God's plan, then what's next? Then I don't have to focus on, I'm too tired, I don't want to do that. I can go do what I need to do. If I need to go put together a Bible study for somebody, or, after work, or if I need to, go somewhere and talk to, to a group or talk to people, it's not going to be such a chore, but it really does start with our health, because if we feel bad, we don't want to do anything. And so this has been a really eye-opening. I didn't think it was going to affect me emotionally as much as it has, but it has. Somebody put in the quote, "The journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step." I like that one. I also like the "How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time." And so those I like those sayings. But I really like that. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. That's absolutely right. And so, and it doesn't have to be a giant leap either. It could be like one small step. You're like, well, okay, there's one. How far do I got to go? Let's go. And so, and like Frank put in the comments here, that he learned that you should modify things. And so you might not be able to get out and start, if you're like me, there was no way I could go out and run day one. It was impossible. I've had surgery on one knee. The other one's bone on bone. I'm 5'7", 309 pounds. There's not a doctor on the planet that would tell me to start a running regimen. It's just not, nobody was going to do that. And so I modified that, and I rode my bike for the same amount of time. And so modified it. I modified it a little bit to fit me. And so no matter what fitness level you're in, or where you're at, with your nutrition or your health, there's always a starting point. And we gotta say, okay, no more, no mas. That's it. I'm done. And turn the other way and say, I'm going to go this way now. And that's what I'm doing. And I'll be honest with you, just this short 5 days, it's even turned my study for my, I'm in seminary. I'm in my third year of seminary. The last 2 years are self-paced with the program I'm in, which is really bad for me because I'm a procrastinator. And so I have been on the book of Genesis, the textbook that I have, for 6 months because I won't take the time to finish it. Well, just in the last couple of days, I've been pulling that book out every night and reading it and taking notes and filling out the paperwork that I got to fill out to finish that. So it affects every aspect of your life. And even though I feel physically right now like I've been hit by a middle linebacker from the Pittsburgh Steelers from the 1970s, I'm really excited about going to the gym tomorrow, even though I have a busy day. I'm excited about figuring out how I'm going to go to the gym on Sunday, because we spend from the time we wake up till noon at church, because my wife is the children's church director. So I'm already in my mind playing these things out. And I'm like, okay, I go back to work Monday night. I'm going to have to get up at this time because I have a PT appointment at 8. And then I'm like, okay, I can go straight to the gym and get my workout. I'm already processing these things that are not here yet because I'm excited about, like, I know that once the really bad soreness goes away, I'm going to be on fire. And let me tell you, once I get back in the pool, it is all over. And I'm going to go right back to the training that I was doing years ago that got me in a position where I felt great. But this time it's going to be different because I'm serving God, and so I'm really excited about that. And I gotta do a shout out to Justin Charpentier. He just had his first daughter, and he's feeling very blessed as God blessed him with a daughter, and every child's a blessing. But I think he had all boys, and so that daughter it's a big thing. I know it is. And I just congratulate him on that, and I pray for the family that they have everything that they need. The baby grows up healthy. I know the first month or so is always a critical time after birth, and so just keeping them in your prayers. And yep, exactly. And even though my girls have different daddies, they're my girls, and I love my girls. And one of them's overseas, but um, yeah, there's nothing like having a dog. I mean, sons are great because uh, they carry on your name. In some cases, they might even follow your footsteps. Military. So I followed my dad's footsteps. I was going to go Air Force, but they had a freeze on recruiting that year, and so I joined the Navy. But I joined the service, and Dad was very proud of that. And then I got into in the community that Dad was in, um, 12 years ago, 13 years ago, and so we shared that, and it's always great, to carry that legacy on. But man, there's something that a little girl does to your heart that just can't explain it. It just melts a grown man. Like they just you become instantly wrapped around their little fingers. And so absolute blessings, absolute blessings. But so I don't really have a whole lot more content for tonight. I was hoping that Marty would jump on. He ain't doing nothing. He's kind of independently wealthy and retired. I hope he hears that. Um, him and his Tesla. But find a group to plug into. Also, if you are a veteran who suffers with PTSD, or you have a veteran that suffers with PTSD, maybe they're not doing nothing about it. Virginia Cruz, she's a Navy veteran. She wrote this book, The Soldier's Guide to PTSD, the No Crap Guide uh, to Reclaiming Your Life. She was here in the studio. She is a licensed clinician. It's what she does for a living. She does it for the VA. The VA won't let her promote this book, but I can. I still have copies of this. So if you need one, please reach out and I'll send you one. If you don't have your own copy of the most important book on the planet, I buy these by the case. And if you need one, let me know, and I'll write some stuff in here for you and send it to you. And I encourage you again to get My Utmost for His Highest by Oswald Chambers. It's on Amazon, like $6 or something. I don't know. Incredible book. You'll be reading this book and go, this guy wrote this 100 years ago. I think he wrote it for me. And that happens a lot with this one here. I read this every morning. It's a great addition to your reading. It's not an addition to the Bible, but it's a great supplement book. For somebody who's studying. Robert Kersey, he's got these new stickers. Isn't that cool? And I'm surprised he didn't jump on today. I didn't see him on here, but I don't know. Maybe he's in Galveston again. I forget what he calls these, but these things are amazing. I only got a couple of them. I think when I get my pickup, I'm gonna have some made for the doors like this. They're really cool. He does all our stickers and our labels. He does a lot for a lot of our customers, Ginger and David. Holographic, that's what it is, Ginger. Holographic. And I wish I had a cup in front of me. I'm going to grab one. I need to grab a cup because y'all need to see the cups that Ginger made for us. So I'm going to grab one. It's right here. Right back. So my wife said that we needed some unbranded mugs. And so Ginger and David do our mugs with really designs. And this says God Country Coffee. It's got our web address really small down there. So it's not really branded, except that this is our why is that? Can you read that or is it backwards? I don't know. Anyway, God Country Coffee. And this one says, I need more Jesus to deal with people who need more coffee. Coffee, anyone? And so Ginger does, and she also does our shirts and our hoodies. Somebody asked me about the hoodie today at PT. Okay, good. And so I had my hoodie on, and then JD Tierney with Southpaw Laser Concepts. He does my patches for my hats. These are awesome hats, Richardson high quality hats, and he does a laser engraving. Frank does crayons ready to eat. These are all veteran companies, so I highly recommend that you support our veteran community. When you buy veteran, you're buying American, plain and simple. David too. David, your husband, David, right? We can read it. Okay. What else? Oh, Frank does crayons ready to eat. Did you put the link in the things, Frank? I said to put your link for your crayons. Basically took a joke that we make about Marines eating crayons and turned it into a real life business with Belgium chocolate. And he got the physical product this year. And he's working on a deal with Grunt Style and all this other stuff. It's all just falling into line for him. I've got a couple packages still in the fridge, and it's an incredible. There it is, and then yeah. So everything is going well. Look at our new page, please, on 3rddcs.com. I'll put the link in the comments. Dave is the muscles behind the madness. Yeah. I'm tracking with you, sister. I don't have extra muscle. I have to do it all myself. And well, Connie helps me with bags and things like that. But this is not a great environment during roasting. And my wife's got really bad asthma, so she can't be in here. But she does a lot of the background stuff for me, and so. Why didn't these guys jump on my podcast? I'm so mad at them. Anyway, 2023, folks, set a course, focus on it, do what you have to do to accomplish those things, and set yourself up for success. Take care of your body. I can't stress that enough. I've not taken care of my body for so many years, and I'm absolutely paying for it now. Take care of your spiritual health. Make sure that relationship with God is healthy. Make sure that you spend time in the Word every morning. Pray all the time. Your life should interrupt your prayer. Your prayer shouldn't interrupt your life. So take care of those things. Take them to heart. And we'll be back next week. We're going to have, if everything works out, next weekend, next Friday, we're going to have the CEO and owner operator of Master Blaster Coffee in the house. And I think he's going to be in Albuquerque this week, and then he's going to come down here. We had an event that got a little bit sidetracked, but he's still going to be in the area. And so we're going to have EOD, former EOD, former Marine and Army vet, Stephen O'Donnell. And we'll link a podcast that he did recently because it was really interesting. He got called to be an expert witness in the Netherlands and I don't know what else. And he's done all kinds of craziness. And so lost everything he had in a fire, picked everything up out of the ashes, literally started over, started Master Blaster Coffee, and they're doing amazing. They're one of our white label customers. And they get a lot of gear from Really Designs. And so that's their Master Blast. That's their logo. That logo is stinking awesome. I don't care who you are. That logo is awesome. And so Ginger and David, I know they do the cups and the canteen cups and the little bullet. I guess I don't have any with me, but the bullet thermoses for Master Blaster. And so he'll be here live on the show next week. And then after that, we've got a lot of people that are wanting to come on and jump on the show. So that's the game plan. I'm going to kill this because I got to go inside, lick my wounds, take a shower, and go to sleep and go pick up donkeys in the morning. Don't ask. Treat each other the way God intended us to treat one another, with love, kindness, and respect. And catch us next Friday at 1900 on the God Country Coffee Podcast. Until then, God bless.